is what it is. No, I'm not. No.
Okay, I'm trying to go high so I don't get.
No, you're fine.
Thanks. Okay. How about this over here? How about, hey guy?
You really need to go home.
Here, bud. Here, man.
Whose is it?
He's right here.
Okay, I'll return it afterwards.
Is there somebody's phone here? Is this yours now? Is this yours?
Yeah. Oh,
Right there.
recording.
All right. All right, so if you guys could just go get a little low in front, that would be great for me, for all of us. Thank you. Thank you for that. Right here, guys. So if you could just go a little low, it'd be great.
Be remanded.
What?
It's going to be remanded.
Is that what they said?
Yeah.
So he's not coming out.
No, two counts, guilty, 2 counts, innocent, 2 counts.
So there's 5 counts though, right?
Yeah.
2 guilty?
Yeah. Guilty,
2 innocent?
Yeah.
And 1 hung? 3 not
be
guilty.
remanded. He will be walking out.
What are the counts that he's guilty?
Sexual act.
Oh, he got the rape charge. Oh, what's the penalty they said? One was 1 to 25, right? I mean 5 to 25 was that? No, I'm the full. Yes. I'm not here, but we have a cameraman down there. I'm going to give him my end go. He's the pull after me. We can't be in 2 places at one time. So.
Right, so he's still going to be alive. I just want to tell my network.
So what I'm going to do is, as soon as he clears me and they let me go down there, I will give him the end go. He's set up down there. So it's the best I can do to get down there. So
You didn't tell me.
I'm going to disconnect.
You didn't tell me.
I think they'll give us time. I think they'll give us time to get down. Yeah.
You didn't say we're on live TV.
Yeah, I'm live, yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
Oh yeah, well I've been telling you, the back of your head, the side of your head, the front of your
my
head.
wife says, I saw you on
Yeah.
nightly news. I saw you on.
I've been telling you all morning, I'm the pool. I'm the
I know.
That's why I was hoping you guys would get a little low. So, yeah, up front.
Can I
So,
shake hands?
yeah, but listen, yeah, I'm live.
I'm live now too.
Where'd she see you on Court TV?
One of my friends did.
Oh yeah.
My wife says, I saw you in the Today Show. I saw you in the NBC Nightly News. Okay. That looks stupid? No, okay.
Yeah, I've had the door up, and I've been telling you guys, you're on the you're on. Yeah. Well, it's cool. That's why if you guys don't mind getting a little low, then we'll all get our shots. It'd be great. Thank you. So what's the word on when everybody's coming out? Soon?
I guess.
Okay. I mean,
They're going live on Channel 4. So they're interviewing
Oh,
the
okay.
next person.
okay. So he's going to jail.
Yeah, so he's gonna be inside. We won't see him coming back.
We'll get the lawyers.
So he's gonna walk out now.
He's not walking out. No.
What about that door? Do you think?
No, he's remanded.
When they have a door inside.
Yeah.
Oh, from there.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, they take him away.
Yeah, at least I mean they should show us like right over here.
Well, we got him coming in.
That's the last time we're gonna.
Yeah, that's why he was probably so congenial. They saying the possible sentence on the counts.
Yeah, they're talking about that they're gonna do that later.
But I'm saying, what does it carry?
They're now in the package of the counting what happened.
Understood, yeah.
This is predatory rape, predator, repeated predator.
Repeated
Life
pardon?
life in jail, not one person, life in jail.
That's a life in jail one? He got convicted on a big one. Listen, it's over today.
Yeah,
We're
thank
done
God.
today.
It's over now.
Well, I'm saying today's the last day for all of us. You come in here every time. We're done. It's down there? No, I'm not. I'm using it. This one, no, but I was charging the other one, but I'm using it now. So, you know what? I might as well charge it. Because it might be long again. I don't need it now. I mean, I'll just wait. Give me a heads up. Need the juice.
After 25 years in prison.
What?
After 25 years in prison for those two charges.
25 years?
Maximum.
Wow. Wow.
Clear the hallway, folks. Please get behind the barriers. Do you think that you're going to the press conference?
I don't know what's going on. I have to find out.
here. What is happening? You gotta coordinate. I'm live here.
You're not gonna have a spot down there.
Oh, it's not my fault.
Yeah, right, but we're waiting on the defense team. defense team still in there? The defense team still in there? Is he still in there? Okay, I heard he was remanded.
They take him through the hallway? No.
No, he's been remanded.
Okay.
So he's going to jail.
Yeah.
I don't know where they'll take him.
Not guilty?
Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Can you move to the left? What's up? What do you do, Rebecca? What do they do? Rebecca? Here we go.
Who's that guy?
The one guy's the one.
Can you give me the jacket off? Give me that. Whole thing, the ladder and everything. No, give me a jacket.
Thank you, man.
On this stuff?
And the ladder. Thank you, I appreciate that. Man.
That's so heavy.
Ooh.
it will become more obvious that those kinds of attacks on the survivors and victims when they're on the stand, making it seem like it's all their fault, will be realized as legal attacks that just simply are no longer going to work in this day and age, and it's time that lawyers stop using them and continuing the myths that I think the jury verdict busted today.
DA Vance, what's your message to women about coming forward? Because some have questioned why did it take the women so long to come forward. What's your message to women who may be attacked, whether it's today or last year? What's your message to them?
First of all, I would say that, Dean, with this, it was Dean, right? With this verdict, I hope that survivors will see that in this justice system, prosecutors, judges, and juries will believe them. Even when the facts are not simple, and even when the dynamics of the relationships between the survivors and the abuser are complicated. So I think, Dean, the message is this is a big day. This is a new day, and I hope women will. Understand the significance of the jury verdict today. In terms of the time it takes to report a sexual assault, Dean, we cannot put ourselves in the shoes of a victim of sexual assault to understand what is going through his or her mind. You heard on the witness stand the reasons why a number of these women survivors did not come forward. They were definitely afraid of Harvey Weinstein, for one thing, and that he would ruin their career. So there's all sorts of dynamics that make survivors of sexual assault not comfortable to come forward. However, those stories are now part of what we all now understand better after this trial that survivors have to go through. So, Dean, I think my hope is with this verdict, survivors of sexual assault, whether it's of Mr. Weinstein or whether it's of someone else, will come forward, and our office and others like our office will, I hope, be there to listen to them and to help them move forward.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good day.
I don't know if you know about my story, but back in 2015, I tried with whatever I could have possibly done to get into what happened today. So I'm happy to see that at least something was done right the second time.
Tell me what happened with you and Mr. Weinstein.
Yes, back in 2015, I was assaulted and I went to the police an hour after. I, the next day, worked with an undercover operation with the police to record him admitting what he did to me, and nothing then was brought to justice. So I could say that right now I'm happy to see that those years that I lost of my life are getting back. Of course, there is a lot of work to do, and I'm here to, being there and speak to people so that situation like this would never happen again. And this is my mission right now.
Say and spell your name for me.
Ambra Battilana Gutierrez.
Spell that, please.
Yes, Ambra, A-M-B-R-A, Battilana is B-A-T-T-I-L-A-N-A, Gutierrez, G-U-T-I-E-R-R-E-Z.
What's next for you?
What's next? Also this Friday, I'm working with organizations that would try to push the Adult Survival Act, and that would try to open a window for the statute of limitation, so that adults, if they feel right now they wanted to, reopen their cases, that could be possible, because we need justice. We need to feel that our life gets back, and that's something that it's very in need for now to try to do.
Thank you for speaking.
Thank you
so much.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Doug Wigdor. I have the privilege of representing Tarale Wolf, who was one of the 3 Molyneux witnesses in this criminal trial. And I also represent 3 other claimants in civil trials, civil cases against Harvey Weinstein. And I also represent 2 other people who are objecting to the civil settlement. Again, Doug Wigdor, and this is...
My name is Deborah Katz. I also represent one of the Molyneux witnesses, Dawn Dunning, and I've represented Erwin Reiter, who was an insider at the... Weinstein Company. But Doug and I both represent 2 very courageous women who testified in court at great personal risk. They came forward and described the predatory behavior of now convicted rapist Harvey Weinstein. No longer will we accept as a society a defense that poor Harvey Weinstein was an unwitting victim of women who took advantage of him. It will no longer be acceptable in courts for anyone to argue that women who are victimized by sexual predators brought it on themselves because they wanted to advance in their careers. Those days are over. There was a repudiation of that argument today, and that is all to the good that moves us all forward, because arguments of the type made by Harvey Weinstein's lawyers have kept women back and have silenced women and have scared women from time immemorial. It is a new era. The Me Too movement has educated us all about how pervasive this kind of behavior it is and how unacceptable it is. And today, the jury put an exclamation point on that in the most significant way possible. Doug and I were in court as we saw Harvey Weinstein being remanded into police custody. Harvey Weinstein is exactly where he should be now, behind bars. Harvey Weinstein has hurt dozens and dozens of people by his sexual, predatory, rapist, violent behavior. And today there could be no other discussion other than Harvey Weinstein is exactly where he should be.
And let me just add to Deborah's comments, all of which I completely agree with. I think one of the things about today is we will not see Harvey Weinstein come down those steps in his feeble attempt of pretending to be unwell and using a walker, because he is now in custody. He's been remanded. He awaits sentencing in March by Judge Burke. And today is a significant day because he's been held responsible for his actions. But while we can't undo that harm, while he's been convicted, we can't undo the harm that he has caused to so many victims. Today will be some mode of relief for all of the assault survivors who hopefully today can bring about some sense of relief. And so for all of the survivors who participated in this criminal trial, I think Deborah and myself and everyone else who participated in this trial want to thank them. I'm confident that each one of the 6 women who testified convinced this jury to convict 2 separate victims, one of criminal sexual assault in the first degree, Mimi Haley, and I know that Gloria Allred will be speaking about her shortly, and also another victim in rape third degree, Ms. Mann. So to Mimi Haley, Jessica Mann, Annabella Sciorra, Tara Lee Wolf, Dawn Dunning, and Lauren Young, let me say on behalf of all of the victims, thank you very much for your participation. Thank you for having the courage to stand up in not easy circumstances, to face cross-examination, to face the media, to face scrutiny, but to do what was right. And thank you to those women for lending a voice to those that couldn't be directly heard, because we know that there are many other victims of Harvey Weinstein who were not testifying at this trial, but their voice was heard through these 6 courageous women. And of course, we're also grateful for the incredible and courageous reporting that got us here through Jody, Megan, and Ronan, and to their sources who risked violating non-disclosure agreements, rogue investigations, threats, and the power of Harvey Weinstein. We would not be here today if it were not for that reporting and for those sources. And of course, we're also grateful to the Manhattan District Attorney's Office that worked tirelessly in reporting, investigating, and trying this case. To Jonah Luzzi, to Megan Hast, we're all appreciative of your hard work, dedication, commitment, and seeing that justice was served today. And to the men and women who supported them in the District Attorney's Office. And to Cy Vance as well. He and I not necessarily have gotten on back in 2011 with DSK when I represented Nafissatou Diallo, but today is a new day, and to him, I congratulate him, and I'd like to thank him for bringing this case. And finally, to the jurors who gave up weeks of their life to be here, to finally come back with a verdict. And, as I see them behind me, to defense counsel. They had a job to do, a client to represent. Because of them, Harvey Weinstein received a fair trial. Even though he lost, he was lucky enough to have them represent them. And let me just say this, and finally, because I think we have some people who really want to speak, who deserve to speak. But I represent 3 other women, as I mentioned, Ms. Sokolow, Ms. David, Ms. Hewitt, and we intend to continue to hold Harvey Weinstein accountable for what he did to those women and to follow up on this criminal trial. Thank you.
So you guys are going to have to make a choice because we have to go do some work. So you can either hear from the defense team or you can hear from
You're not going to silence me again. Oh, yes, you are.
All right,
oh,
so
yes,
you
you
guys
are.
Going to hear from us.
Well, really? All right, I have a short statement. Today, the jury in the criminal case of the people of the state of New York versus Harvey Weinstein returned a verdict against the defendant, Harvey Weinstein. Do you want to go over there? Is that what you want to do? This is a legal reckoning for Harvey Weinstein. The 3 witnesses whom I represent have been role models in courage. Without them and their willingness to testify under oath in this case, and without their willingness to be subjected to an intense and brutal cross-examination, this result would never have been won. Mimi Haley is one of the 2 victims in this criminal case, and she is my client. Mimi sacrificed her right to privacy in the interests of justice. Annabella Shore was a very brave witness on this issue of sexually predatory conduct. Lauren Marie Young was a Molyneux witness, prior bad act witness. She's also one of the 2 victims in the Los Angeles County criminal case against Harvey Weinstein, which will be prosecuted in Los Angeles very soon. All of my 3 clients should be considered heroes of the women's movement and the victims' rights movement. These witnesses told their truth under oath, despite what many people felt were unfair attacks on their credibility by Harvey Weinstein's defense lawyers, who attempted to do anything and everything legally possible to challenge the motives of the witnesses and blame them for what the witnesses testified that the defendant Harvey Weinstein did to them. Fortunately, the defense attempts to discredit them were not successful. My clients bravely stood in their truth and refused to be intimidated, bullied, or shamed into substantially changing their testimony about what the defendant did to them. I'm very proud of them. I'm very happy that the jury delivered the verdict that was read in court today as to Mimi and as to Jessica, whom I do not represent. The jury took their time. They asked very thoughtful questions in advance of the verdict, and we thank them for their service on this historic case and for their carefully considered verdict, which I believe is a just result as to Mimi and to Jessica. Harvey Weinstein will now have to finally face the serious consequences of his criminal behavior at his sentencing here in New York on March 11th. The most serious charge is the one that he was convicted on from my client Mimi. For that, he can face 10 to 25 years. And the victim does have an opportunity to speak at the sentencing and give her victim impact statement. And in the event that Mimi is available on March 11th, she and I will be here in order to do that.
Donna just said that Harvey was shocked. Maybe you want to respond to that.
That he was what? Yes, okay, good, thank you, that's good. So, in addition, I look forward to seeing him in Los Angeles after the sentencing, as he attempts to defend himself against the criminal charges which will face him there. And as I said, I represent Lauren Young, who's one of the 2 victims for whom charges have been filed in Los Angeles. And she was a Molyneux witness in this case. I look forward to his sentencing and the next criminal trial in Los Angeles, where, as I said, I'll be representing Lauren Marie Young, and this case will continue. I will say this about Annabella. Even though the jury did not find beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant, Mr. Weinstein, was guilty of crime against Mimi and a crime against Jessica and sexually predatory conduct, Annabella is absolutely one of the bravest women I know. She sacrificed so much privacy, invested so much time, went through so much just for the cause of justice. She didn't have to do it. She did do it. And I'm just so honored to know her and to represent her. The fact that they did not find guilt beyond a reasonable doubt on the issue of sexually predatory conduct does not mean that there weren't members of the jury who believed Annabella. Although I have not had an opportunity to speak, nor have I heard any interviews by members of the jury, I have confidence that there were people in the jury, there were members of the jury who did credit Annabella's testimony It's just that the jury could not find guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, which is the highest burden of proof in the law. It's always possible that she was believed, but that the high burden of proof required to find him guilty on sexually predatory conduct was not something that the jury could find. But nonetheless, she's so brave. Susan B. Anthony once said, "Courage is the best protection a woman can have." And I just can't say enough about her courage through all of this. And I'm also going to say in advance, I know there are going to be many people in Los Angeles who are going to be testifying in the Los Angeles case whom you have not yet heard from, and who will also demonstrate courage in testifying in LA. So I'll be happy to take some questions. Pardon me? If I could talk to Harvey Weinstein, what would I tell him right now? Well, I just heard that his attorney said that he was shocked. And he was surprised by the verdict. Well, he shouldn't have been surprised. If you do to women what you did to Mimi, what the jury found that you did to Mimi, criminal sexual act, what the jury found that you did to Jessica, you shouldn't be surprised if you have to face criminal consequences for the crimes that you committed against them. You shouldn't be shocked. You should have been prepared for this. It's no longer business as usual in the United States. This is the age of empowerment of women. And you cannot intimidate them anymore, because women will not be silenced. They will speak up. They will have their voice. They will stand up and be subjected to your small army of defense attorneys cross-examining them, attempting to discredit them, humiliate them, shame them, and they will still stand in their truth. So Harvey Weinstein, this justice has been a long time coming, but it's finally here. And it's not the end, because LA is still going to proceed. And I believe that will happen after the sentencing, that he will be quickly going to Los Angeles, and we're looking forward to seeing him there. I'm sorry? Can't hear you. In this case? Okay, well, Prince Andrew, Prince Andrew needs to start by talking to the FBI. And so I do hope that everyone who saw my message on the yellow school bus on Friday to Prince Andrew and to the public in Great Britain, which said, if you see this man, ask him to call the FBI, and it had the FBI's number. It's not an accident that was on a school bus, because it's about children with Jeffrey Epstein. It is sex trafficking of underage girls. So my message is, it's time to step up to the bar of justice, or at least talk to the FBI, say what you know. Well, they haven't questioned him because he hasn't agreed to be questioned. The clock is ticking. Thank you. Any other questions about Harvey Weinstein or what happened today? I'll just say I'm very happy. I'm thrilled. When the verdict came back, guilty for Bill Cosby, I said women were believed. And now that the verdict has come back guilty for Harvey Weinstein, I will say once again, women were believed. So for those of you who are listening and watching, if you are a victim of rape or sexual abuse or sexual assault, please know that this is a new day for victims of gender violence. Law enforcement is now beginning to believe you. Juries are beginning to believe you and to convict. So just have courage. This is a new day. Justice may be coming for you as well. Thank you.